Hello and welcome everyone back to my corner. I am the DM as always, and today we have two very interesting videos from two different Republicans who I normally don't agree with on a lot, but after hearing these, I think my attitude is starting to change towards them. The first one we have here is Gaetz.
Speaker Pelosi tells us she's on a crusade for the children. Someone should maybe remind the Speaker the crusades did not always end well when they were reflexively driven by emotion and riddled with poor planning. No, this is no crusade for the children. If it were, you wouldn't leave our children as sitting ducks in gun-free zones when they go to school every day. Speaker says we need action. Well, we're for action. How about the action of my bill to create a national stand your ground law to strengthen self-defense, or Richard Hudson's bill for national concealed carry, or any number of proposals Republicans have offered to unlock the safe and secure environment when we have our military veterans and our former members of law enforcement able to carry a firearm responsibly in schools to be able to respond to these acts of violence.
Yeah. That's very true. I've been speaking with my friend about a lot of this, and the primary thing that we have to remember about these school shootings is the individual or potentially individuals who are going into these buildings to commit these atrocities are going there with the intent to kill. End of story. He's not going there with the intent of robbing it or holding hostages to get a ransom or anything like that. He's going there to kill. End of story. So it's not going to be likely that you're going to be able to talk these individuals down. However, our retired law enforcement officers and our veterans, who we have many homeless on the street right now, that we're just ignoring and not talking about in any way, shape, or form, they're responsible. The thing, especially with our veterans, that you have to remember, I'm not entirely sure if this is true with law enforcement, but I know it's true for our army and our military. They take an oath to the Constitution. The moment when you sign up to go into the army, you take an oath to the Constitution. And you are never relieved of that oath. Ever. I've had every single person in the military that I've ever spoken to repeat this exact same thing. Every single one. Current, active duty, and retired. So, we have all these veterans that are homeless, jobless, no one seems to care for them. Let them defend our schools. Let them continue to serve in their capacity as military after being retired by protecting our schools. It gives them a guaranteed job. It protects our schools. What is the issue with it? We trust these men to go and fight in wars to protect our lives, to protect our rights. Why won't we trust them to go and protect our children?
No, their version of action is more gun control, raising the age to be able to buy certain firearms. Well, on November 25th, 2021, a crazed lunatic with a knife broke into a home in El Paso and began assaulting a woman inside. The 20-year-old homeowner grabbed his rifle and killed the assailant. That's action. In 2017, in Sutherland Springs, Texas, a gunman opened fire inside the First Baptist Church. A Good Samaritan grabbed his AR-15 and engaged the shooter, stopping him from further carnage. A good use for an AR-15. In 2019, in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, a 19-year-old killed 3 would-be burglars who broke into his home. These situations happen every day, and there would be...
A 19-year-old did that. If we raised the minimum age to 21, that 19-year-old would be dead, along with probably everyone else in that home. And also, remember, Congress does not have the power to change the age That's restricted to the states because that's an amendment to the Constitution, and the states have to do that. Specifically, 30 of them, and I would remind you that at least 34, I think maybe even 36, specifically have laws that prevent the federal government from interfering with the Constitution, specifically with the Second Amendment. So, yeah.
More death and more bloodshed if we were to accept these proposals from the Democrats. But the Second Amendment isn't about hunting or about self-defense. It is about power. It is about the power that is reserved in the citizenry to curate a balance so that Americans are not overrun by tyranny. And thank God we haven't had to use the Second Amendment for the purpose that some might have envisioned necessary when our founders were creating the Constitution. And that power belongs to the people, not to the Democrats trying to take their rights away and to make their schools less safe.
Damn. You hear that? Let's play back that last part one more time.
When our balance so that Americans are not overrun by tyranny. And thank God we haven't had to use the Second Amendment for the purpose that some might have envisioned necessary when our founders were creating the Constitution. And that power belongs to the people, not to the Democrats trying to take their rights away.
You hear that? The power of the Constitution, the Second Amendment. It's not about self-defense. It's not about hunting. It's about stopping tyranny. End of story. It doesn't fucking care about what you think or what you feel or what you want or what you care for. It doesn't. The Second Amendment is there to stop tyranny. End of story. It was written into our Constitution by our forefathers, by the forefathers of this land, because they knew it would be vital. They knew it would be vital. Now, the second one is from another individual who I still do not agree with on many things. And this right here, I got it. I call people out and I give credit where credit's due. I give credit where credit's due to her. She calls it as it is.
The lady from Georgia is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. Well, we don't agree on much these days here in Congress, but I know there's one thing we all agree on. We all agree that we really like guns. See, we're the special privileged elites. We're the ones in this chamber being protected by guns, while the American people don't have men and women with guns outside their homes. Of course, not at any gun-free school zone they're not protected, nor at work. But here Congress, the same Congress that's voting to send just millions and millions of dollars worth of guns to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves, is the same Congress working as hard as possible to take away the Second Amendment rights from Americans. You see, our job here is to protect rights like due process.
Let me. Thank you, MTG, but let's run that back. Let's just have her say that one more time for those listening. Okay, and really, if you have headphones and you don't have them on right now, put them on, because you need to hear this. Okay, you need to hear this.
Of dollars worth of guns to, nor at work. But here Congress, the same Congress that's voting to send just millions and millions of dollars worth of guns to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves, is the same Congress working as hard as possible to take away the Second Amendment rights from Americans. You see, our job here is to protect rights like due process and the Second Amendment rights of Americans, not strip them away. Red flag gun laws violate Americans' due process rights, and this is the type of thing that we shouldn't be passing in this Congress, especially while we enjoy the very privileged elite special protection of guns.
Man, calling it as it is. They get the special elite privilege of being protected by men and women with guns. But the rest of America doesn't. And they want to sit there and try and be like, you're not responsible enough to handle guns. That we need to raise the age limit. We need to make it harder and just really a lot harder to get guns in every possible way. Now, to be fair, I support more background checks. I think if you're getting a gun, end of story, you need to have a background check. I think that should be a given. Okay? I don't think that's unreasonable. I also think we need to invest more in our mental health care system as a whole, not just where guns are related. Because people don't even need to have a mental health issue as it's defined in medicine to snap, to go on one of these rampages. Okay. But raising the age limit, which is not possible, won't do anything. Removing these guns from responsible citizens isn't going to do anything. I'll remind you all that in that bill that they're trying to get passed, it states that they would be able to seize your guns, strip them away from you completely. Every single gun you've ever owned, every single gun you might try to get, they're just going to take it. And they don't need a reason. It's despicable. As always, I've been your DM. Thank you for coming to my corner, and I'll see you next time.